I've been a bit preoccupied of late because I've been thinking about my son who's getting married this week. I've been thinking about how it only seems like 5 minutes ago he was born, and to be quite honest, I haven't really been able to concentrate on much else these last few days. The upshot of that means that I've decided to have an afternoon in front of the telly. Not knowing what to watch, I went back to an old favourite, the Beatles film, A Hard Day's Night. Being a huge Beatles fan, it was an easy choice for me. I love all the songs, I know all the words, and I always sing along. It's amazing how that little act can take my mind off the brooding that I've been going through. But here's the thing, the minute one of the songs came on, I was transported back to my childhood. In 1965, my parents moved us to a little Somerset town called Burnham-on-Sea, where we took over an amusement arcade on the seafront. And my dad piped music through the arcade to keep the punters entertained while they were playing on the machines. We had a room at the back of the arcade that was basically used to take breaks, and Mum would cook dinner in there. It had a kitchen table and chairs, a settee and some seats. And on top of a unit was my dad's reel-to-reel tape recorder and a record player next to it from which he played music in the arcade. And the Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale and Help albums were consistently heard. And hearing those songs again took me back to being a 5-year-old and being in that arcade. It was where my mum taught me how to deal with money. She'd play games to teach me about giving change and how to give people the appropriate money for the machines. There were 12 pennies in a shilling, 24 in 2 shillings and so on. We'd sit at the table and she'd say, "Here's 10 bob. I want a shilling's worth of pennies and a shilling's worth of sixpences. What other money should I have in change?" And that's how we'd play. Then, when she thought I knew what I was doing, she'd take me into the arcade, into the change desk and let me do it for real, with her by my side, until she was sure I was able to cope on my own. And those are the kind of memories I had yesterday as I heard the words of "I should have known better" and "I'm happy just to dance with you" being sung in the film. The Beatles were part of the soundtrack of my childhood. We had all the LPs. In fact, the first LP I remember buying with my own money was Revolver in the summer of 1966 with my birthday money. A few years ago, I rebought all the Beatles LPs again. I'd had them all on vinyl when I was growing up, but when CDs came in, I bought them all again as CDs. But it was never the same. The CD just didn't feel right. During a period when I needed the money back in the 1990s, I sold all of my Beatles LPs. After all, I now had them on CD, but it wasn't quite the same. And so a few years ago, I started buying them all again, one by one, until I had them all once more. And so this morning I got the LP out, put it on my record deck and gave it another spin. The Beatles remind me of how lucky I was as a kid. Their albums remind me of a golden time, of spending time on the beach helping John Tandy with the donkeys. I was probably hindering more than I was helping. Of playing on the beach with my friends. Of being in the arcade with my mum and dad, my brother and my sisters, and so much more. Just hearing those songs reminds me that music has an ability to bring back those little important moments of my life. Moments that without that music would have gone and never have been remembered. And because of those wonderful songs, I got to go on a flashback trip to my past. A past in which I still have my mum and dad. A past in which I have such precious memories. And hearing those songs will probably always have that same effect on me. And so, as another chapter in my life closes and my youngest son starts his new one, it becomes another rich part of the tapestry of our lives, one that my parents probably went through with me 40 odd years ago. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that button as it lets me know whether you're enjoying the content or not. Feel free to share it and click up there to see how I did my own version of the Hard Day's Night album cover. Thanks for watching.